Hi everyone, I'm now planning to do one project that's for a beginner and hobby level woodworker like me, so I'm making tools needed for it. And this time, I made a mitre shooting board, and here's the final result. This is called Tomedai in Japanese according to a Japanese craftsman on YouTube, who I'm so much influenced by. He actually just received an award by the government of Japan for his skill, but anyway, this is my video for you guys, so let's see how I did it. First off, I got 1x12 red oak from the Home Depot and cut and planed it to make a flat surface. As I wanted to use a thicker wood, I was going to go to a lumber yard for my first time and get some 6/4 types wood. But I'm sure some of those who watch my video are beginners with limited tools just like me, so I decided to source 3/4 material from a big box store. For your information, the outside of the wood is way easier to make flat than the inside. The board I had was so cupped, but now it seems like I made it square. Then I made the 45-degree angle on the end grain. This is not the final shape, so I just roughly shaped it. The red oak is so tough for hand tools, and I should pre-cut the board edge by 45 degrees first with a handsaw. While I'm planing, let me quickly go over how I will put two boards together to gain the thickness. According to what I read on the internet, it's better if you put outside of the board together like the picture. It made sense to me, but I set the grain of the two boards same way. It's because it's easier to plane to set the angle. Additionally, the reason I used the end grain for the angle was, it was to prevent plane blade from accidentally catching the grain and messing up the angle. Anyways, I quickly made feet by 3/4 walnut dowel. If you go to the Home Depot, sometimes walnut is mixed in 3/4 hardwood square dowels that are mostly popular, so it's cheap. I could have cut the red oak, but again, it's too hard to work with by hand tools. Now the fences, but before working on the fences, I made sure the surface is square and corrected the angle a little bit. Then I cut grooves on the board with the carving plane I made. The main purpose I made it was actually for this project. And of course I used the router plane next, which is also what I made. I felt so happy to use things I made. After that, I cut the dado on the fences with the saw and pre-fit them. Finally, I cut the mitre on the edges and drilled the clamp positions and glued them to the board. I didn't want to use nails or screws for the fences in case I use this board until it's gone like the picture. Moving on to making a clamp function, the thing I really hate about my 90-degree shooting board is the plane blade slightly pushes the wood away when they contact each other even if I grab the wood tightly. Now I'm cutting angled tenons on both sides of the crossbar, where I put the hold down screw as clamps. I'm getting used to doing this kind of things, and my approach was, first, cut off both edges of the tenons to the angle I want. Then clean the middle part gradually. Just be sure to check the grain direction you are chiseling, or the corners might break. Anyways, I'm using the real small scraps to make side pieces and the wedges. I even saved these small maple cut-off pieces. Well, the one side of the wedge is glued, and one side can be put in and out by hand. It's time to do the final adjustment. I was making sure if the cutting line is square by placing a cardboard that I cut into perfect 90 degrees. And then the 65mm Japanese plane just arrived from Japan as a gift. But sadly, because this is humid season there, and here in California is super dry as usual, it arrived with a crack. Oh, I forgot to mention, I put the top burr. I made it roughly 45 degrees and then put it on top of the fences. Now, I'm just doing the final adjustment of the top bar angle by using the bottom angle as a reference. Okay, finally I finished the adjustment. It looked easy, but behind the camera, it took a long time to adjust everything. But anyways, let's test it. Oh, before the test, let me show you how I can clamp the thing. It's cool, right? This is the test. So I roughly cut wood and will make 45 degrees by shaving about 1/8 of an inch off of the wood. I realized it's good to start off with a rough cut plane from the top like the picture, so it doesn't damage the bottom angle, which is the main reference. Then I finished it with fine slices with a finely tuned plane. This wood is actually a little bit twisted, but it seems like it's working okay. Let's see the moment of truth. I put the 15-second glue on top of the wood glue, so I can see the result quickly. See, there's no gap at all. The corner is very beautiful too. But it's almost 91 degrees. I actually adjusted the miter box a little bit again and tried it at the night time, and both pieces were perfectly 45 degrees. But it ended up 90.8 to 9 degrees. So the conclusion is, my challenge to make a perfect miter joint failed. But the reason I didn't try it again was, it's more difficult to increase the angle once it's undercut. And since I was so sure the miter cut was the perfect 45 degrees on the last try, I also doubted it's because I didn't clamp it, and the soft pines flowed a little bit by wood glue. Anyways, I'm planning to make something with this miter shooting board in a few episodes, so you'll see the answer for how it goes. That's all for today. Overall, at least I finished one jig from my to-make list, and I'm happy with it. Like I said, I'll make jigs or tools for the next few episodes, so if you're interested in it, please stay tuned. Thank you so much for watching. I would be happy if you liked the video and happier if you subscribe to this channel. If you have any suggestion to my video, it's also welcome. See you!